The Lyca Phone 3 has arrived, and in this video, I'll be doing my full unboxing, first impressions, getting the Lyca Phone 3 out of the box. This is a full series that I will be running for the Lyca Phone 3. I'm a huge fan. I used the Lyca Phone 2, but ran into some blunders, and I want to talk about, even in this unboxing, how to avoid some of the issues that I ran into when switching from a smartphone like iPhone or Android to a de facto dumb phone, and what you can do to make sure you get the best experience possible. Not only will I be showing you how to set it up in future videos, but doing a full dedicated review, looking through the Photos app, as well as the Maps app, podcast, and I'll be comparing it to the Lyca Phone 2 if you're somebody who's deciding between Lyca Phone 2 and Lyca Phone 3, because the 2s are still available at the recording of this video. But without further ado, let's dive right in. I want to be clear that I purchased the Lyca Phone 3 with my own money. However, I also wanted to be clear that I do have a partner for this video series, Lyca Mobile, and this is a key fundamental part of getting a Lyca Phone 2 or Lyca Phone 3, and that's making sure that you have a fresh SIM card. More about Lyca Mobile and getting a fresh SIM later in the video. A tool for a better life. Now, they're actually designed out of Brooklyn, New York. Fantastic company. If you've not been following them, love the guys over there. They have such keen design sense. Everything from the actual device to the packaging to the accessories and now to the different apps that come with the phone. And as they've been thoughtfully upgrading, we have been benefiting from the nuances of them deciding to thoughtfully add different features to the phone and make it to where we're not ending up with a smartphone in the end. A phone designed to give you tools to flourish as the most thoughtful and intentional version of yourself. It's a tool for a better life. So you can see the main features that they're promoting here on the Lyca Phone 3. Of course, it's gonna be the phone, alarm, directions, calendar, notes, and then you can dive into your settings. They do have a podcast feature, and that is something that I'll be diving into. I'm curious how easy it will be to use the podcast feature. Nice thick cardboard, and on the back of this, some directions on how to get started with your Lyca phone. Some walkthroughs, some troubleshooting, how to manage your device in the dashboard, and we'll run through all of that during this setup. Now, one thing I was really looking forward to was the Lyca case. Now, you can actually buy additional Lyca cases and they stack neatly on top of each other, but this was a collaboration with a company out of Japan called Toyo. And you can go ahead and use this after the fact to store things and order more to stack up and keep your things stored nicely. Now, before we get into the actual Lyca phone, let's go ahead and check out the cable. So braided USB-C cable. Last model for the Lyca Phone 2, it wasn't braided, but it was a custom cable that was meant for the Lyca phone specifically, and it was branded with Lyca. So I'm really excited to see the braided version of the USB-C cable. Just pulling that out of the sleeve. So you can see, branded, just like the previous cable, except it's a braided cable instead of just a standard rubberized cable. Now, it does not come with a hub, but I mean, this day and age, I'm sure you have tons of hubs that you could use. My MacBook Air actually has 2 slots on the hub. So usually what I do is I just travel with that and I can charge my computer and my Lyca phone right off of that MacBook Air charger, which is a really nice touch. Next, I want to talk about the cases that you have opportunity to order with the Lyca phone. Now, I went ahead and went with the more affordable, plastic or rubberized case. And for me, it just made the most sense. I really liked the design of the other case. I thought it was cool. It had a nice little pocket on it, but this was the most practical one. I simply wanted to get a protective case, and I liked the bright blue color. This is just simply a rubberized case, all your access to your buttons, charger port, speaker, everything right there. Since I will have less access to different apps on my phone, I'm going to be carrying around a notepad and a fountain pen. This to me is kind of slowing down my brain, and that's the whole point of the Lyca Phone 3, is to slow down your brain and make you more thoughtful about each thing in life. ChatGPT, AI, all these different features and functionalities and tools didn't even exist when the first Lyca phone or even the second Lyca phone came out. So I feel like we're at a place where we need to be even more intentional about preserving our brain power and not being consumed by using the tools and dumbing ourselves down. And that, for me, is the mission that I'm going on with the Lyca phone. If I'm not mistaken, the screen protectors and the case are $15 for each item. Now, without further ado, the light phone. So go ahead, pop the lid right there. Much love, Light. That's a cool touch because that was on the original Light 2 packaging, which when we compare the models, we can check that out. I like the weight of the Light Phone 3. The Light Phone 2 was a plastic material, so it's definitely a little bit lighter, where we have aluminum casing around the Light Phone 3. The Light Phone 2 was really nice, and I love the simple concept. It just felt more like a toy. It didn't feel so much like a refined professional design. The design aesthetic was strong, but the materials used weren't as strong. When you think about like the new iPhones, using all metal materials, they have a very professional, very strong, very industrial feel. That's what I feel like the Light Phone 3 was able to accomplish. I do want to show the inside of the case, so you can see plenty of room in here to store knives, pens, notebooks, whatever it might be. So the case is fantastic. Okay, there's the Light Phone 3. I like the large speaker grill. Whether the speaker covers the entirety of this speaker grill, it has a really nice touch, has a very uniform design, and I like how they did that. You can see along the bottom, we have our USB-C port, and then of course, our mic. On the left side, we have our dial, which also is a click button. And you see we have both a front-facing camera and a back-facing camera with a light. You can easily take off the back cover to upgrade the device, which we will do here in just a few moments. Now the next thing is you can pop your SIM card in right there on the side with the SIM tool. We also have additional buttons. I'm guessing these are our volume buttons. This is probably our return to home button, and I don't know what that button does next, so we'll have to dig into that. And of course we have our listening earpiece up at the top here, and an additional button up at the top. So there's actually a lot of function buttons on the Light Phone, and we'll dive in and see what each of them do. Okay, now looking at the back of the Light Phone, we actually have two polymer pieces that sit over. The rim of the device is that aluminum, and we have plastic on the front. This is a matte finish over an OLED screen. We're no longer running on e-ink. Before we power the device on, let's go ahead and check out the interior. Okay, the screws are out, and I'm going to pop off the back cover. You can see this is a very simple, thin piece of plastic polymer material. Inside, we have our rechargeable lithium-ion polymer battery. What I love about Light Phone is the ease of keeping your phone well maintained. So many times, if you wanted to do this on an iPhone or an Android, you'd have to go to a shop and pay quite a bit more money than it would be to just order a battery from Light Phone. All you gotta do is go on their website, order a fresh battery, and you're good to go. And because taking out the battery and messing anything up could void my warranty, I'm not going to pull it out and look underneath it because I actually do want to use this phone and I don't wanna pay extra to use it just for this review. Without further ado, let's see if we can get the Light Phone powered on. All right, while the phone is getting set up, I want to take a moment to provide some personal experience. I used the Light Phone 2 with my SIM card from my iPhone. I took the steps to deactivate iMessage and all my linked devices. However, I still experienced what I am calling phantom iPhone. Sometimes my phone would still try to capture FaceTime calls or iMessages if the user who was reaching out to me was using an iPhone. My wife had surgery a few years back, and when she came out of surgery, the doctor attempted to call me from his iPhone. And the call did not go through to my Light Phone because it was somehow intercepted by the FaceTime call. This is no fault of Light Phone, but the main reason why I'm choosing to use my new Light Phone 3 on a new SIM card. Now, Lyca partnered with me on this series. Get started with Lyca Mobile for just $7.50. Now, you'll get 18 gigs of data per month, which includes 10 gigs of high-speed hotspot. Now, they also have an unlimited plan starting at just $20. This is my strong recommendation for those who are active on their phones throughout the day, particularly students who want unlimited high-speed data with 15 gigs of high-speed hotspot to share with friends. Now, you'll also get the usual Lyca benefits of unlimited talk and text nationwide and to 100 countries, as well as unlimited talk and text if you're in Canada and Mexico. Keep in mind again that this offer is for new customers and only available at lycamobile.com. So cool with the new OLED screen, how you get more motion and unique design flair out of the device itself. The e-ink is a really cool touch. You didn't experience that heavy blue light, but I do think there's something that was intelligent for them moving towards an OLED screen. It just gave them much more flexibility. I think for me, the absence of maps, the absence of an alarm clock and a calendar really held me back from utilizing the phone in my full daily work. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and click the side button and that immediately turns the light on. That is wildly convenient. Let's go ahead and click the middle button, and that welcomes me to my iPhone.
What?
I'll click again to continue. Nope, maybe not. Tap the screen. I can connect to Wi-Fi from here in order to get the phone set up. For this unboxing, I wanted to give you a first look and first impressions of the device. I want to get your questions and your comments. What do you want to know about it in future videos? I'm going to do a full video on how to set up the device, specifically using Lyca Mobile as my SIM card. When it comes to getting a plan, you don't need as robust as a plan as all of these smartphones are using. You can get a more budget-friendly plan like Lyca Mobile, and it will be a fantastic, suitable option for you. So if you're considering a light phone, definitely check out Lyca, ordering it alongside, and check out their great plans. Head down in the description below, click the link to check out their services. Remember, comments and questions. I want to know what you're interested in learning about the Lytphone 3. I'll be making a full series of videos over the coming weeks, so I'm going to answer your questions from the comments in the future videos. You definitely want to hang on to this series, and I hope you enjoy the deep, thoughtful, and slow, simple exploration into the Lytphone, because a device of this nature deserves a non-flashy experience. It deserves you showing up in my office with me and enjoying the exploration of the Lytphone 3. I'll see you in the next Lytphone video.